I don't really know who else to tell this to anymore. The police think I'm unstable, my family thinks I'm lying, and I'm starting to wonder if I'm actually losing my mind. But I need someone to hear this, because something is wrong in my house. Something took my wife, and I think it's still here. My wife, Clara, she's 29, 5'4", soft-spoken, long muddy brown hair, and blue eyes, bright, almost too bright. She disappeared on October 18th. The last time I saw her, she said she was going to take a shower. I was sitting in the living room. I could see the bathroom door the entire time. She walked in. She never walked out. But the weirdness didn't start that night. It started about 2 weeks before, with something so stupid I still feel guilty saying I brushed it off. The sink. Clara called me into the kitchen one night, sounding shaky. She said she thought she saw blood in the dishwater. I looked, and there was a faint reddish swirl circling the drain, but I told her it was ketchup left over from dinner. She looked embarrassed and dropped it. She trusted me. She always did. The next night, it happened again. This time, the water had a brown-red tint to it, pooling thicker around the drain. I told her it was rust, old pipes, nothing to worry about. I promised I'd call a plumber. I never did. A few days later, she screamed in the shower. Not a panic scream, but one of those quick, startled bursts. I paused my game and she came out shaking. She said the rust came up through the drain, not down, up. I told her it was pressure changes from the neighbors, that she was stressed. I even lied and said the plumber was scheduled for Friday. Of course, I didn't schedule anything. I thought she was overreacting. But the rust, or whatever it was, started showing up everywhere, in the sink, the toilet, the bathtub, and every time the color got darker, thicker, more like something organic. On the night she disappeared, she went into the bathroom at 7:30 to take a shower. I went back to my game. I grind a lot, so an hour passed without me thinking twice. I yanked back, but it held on, pulling like it wanted me elbow deep. My chest clenched so hard I couldn't breathe. And then I heard a motor rev up, this whirring blade sound, and for a split second I thought the garbage disposal had turned on. It was just my neighbor outside mowing his lawn late like an idiot, but it scared me so badly that I tore my arm free. My hand was covered in that thick, dark sludge and stuck to my palm, held there by a string of tissue, was something small. A blue eye. Perfect, bright, sapphire blue. Clara's eye. I called the police again. They won't even pick up now. The plumber I finally got to come out said the pipes were pristine and suggested I see someone for stress. I can hear the gurgling in every room now. The walls sound wet, like something is crawling behind them, spreading, looking for new drains, new openings, new places to come through. Sometimes I swear I hear Clara's voice in the plumbing, whispering or crying or breathing. So I need to know, has anyone else ever heard something like this? Because I don't think I'm alone in this house anymore. I think whatever took her is still here, and I think it's hungry. My mom passed away 2 months ago. It wasn't sudden or violent or anything like that. It was slow. quiet. Cancer. We all saw it coming for years, but that doesn't make it easier. When the end came, she was in a small hospice room that smelled like bleach and warm air. I sat next to her for that last week, holding her hand, listening to the oxygen machine breathe for her. The strange part was, she wasn't scared. She was calm, peaceful, almost relieved. Meanwhile, I felt like a frayed wire ready to snap. On her last day, something changed. Her eyes had been cloudy for days, but suddenly they went clear, sharp. She pulled me a little closer and whispered, "Don't be sad, my love. I'm not afraid. He's always been with me." "Who?" I asked. I thought she was confusing me with someone else. "My guardian," she said, looking past me at something I couldn't see. "My protector, a gift from my mother when she died. He's kept me safe my whole life." I just assumed the morphine was talking. My mom was spiritual, sure, but she'd never talked about anything like this. I squeezed her hand and told her to rest.
She didn't. Her voice got stronger, even though her body was failing. "When I go," she whispered, "he will pass to you. He needs someone to watch over. You will be safe now." "Mom, please," I said. I could barely breathe. "You won't believe me at first," she said, "but you'll know. There will be 10 marks, 10 signs. When you've seen the 10th, you'll see him." Then she recited them to me, slowly, like a list she had memorized decades ago. "A coin returned, a silent bell, a path cleared, a saved fall, a warning unheard, a fear answered, a scent of the old earth, a touch of cold fur, a voice not your own, and finally, a gaze returned." She finished, exhaled a long, peaceful breath, and a few hours later, she was gone. The funeral blurred by, weeks of paperwork, condolences, numbness, the kind of grief that doesn't hurt so much as suffocate. I completely forgot her last words. I honestly thought they were just dying brain nonsense. Then the first mark happened. I dropped a quarter in a rainy parking lot while digging for my keys. It bounced, rolled, and vanished under a car. I looked for it for a minute, then gave up. When I got home and emptied my pockets, the same quarter was sitting right on top of my wallet. Second mark. A few days later, I walked past a shut-down church. The bell tolled once, loud, deep, clear, but the bell didn't move. No wind, no birds startled, nobody else reacted. Third mark. A maintenance cart the size of a refrigerator blocked a hallway at work. I turned around, realized I'd forgotten something, doubled back, and the hallway was empty. The cart was gone. I hadn't heard a sound. At that point, I wasn't scared yet, but I wasn't comfortable either. I kept telling myself grief messes with your head. You hear things, you lose things, you misremember details. Then came the fourth. I missed a stair in my apartment building. You know that horrible moment when your stomach drops and you know you're about to break something? I felt that. I pitched forward. The tile floor was inches from my face. And then I just stopped, suspended, like someone had caught me by the chest and lowered me gently to the ground. Fifth and sixth came fast. I was about to step into an elevator in the mall when a wave of dread washed over me so hard I froze. No noise, no logic, just pure, "do not get in." I stepped back. The doors closed. 10 seconds later, the elevator seized somewhere between floors. Alarms, grinding metal, people screaming inside. That night, a big dog came charging at me in the park, barking, snarling, teeth out. I braced myself, but a foot before it reached me, it just stopped. It yelped, tail down, and bolted like something behind me scared it worse than anything in front of it. After that, the feeling of being watched became constant. I'd catch movement in reflections, tall shapes, hunched shapes, always behind me, always in the corner of my eye. 7th mark. My apartment started smelling different. Damp earth, wet fur, old soil after rain. It drifted in and out, never lingering long enough to blame plumbing or mold. 8th. I was drifting off in bed when something brushed my hand. Coarse, bristly, like the back of a wild animal. I sat up so fast I saw stars. The room was empty. 9th. Last night, I woke up to a voice whispering directly into my ear, a low, guttural whisper that didn't sound human. I don't know the word it said, but I understood it. Mine. I stayed awake until sunrise, shaking, clutching a baseball bat like it would do anything. And tonight? Tonight was the 10th. I was done waiting. I sat on my couch with every light on and said, "If you're here, show yourself." Something stepped out of the hallway. At first it looked like an old man, tall and hunched, but its arms hung too low, the fingers too long. The body was covered in thick, matted black fur. Then it lifted its head. It had the narrow, bearded face of a goat, curved horns, and eyes, bright yellow, intelligent, ancient, and absolutely not kind. A gaze returned. The 10th mark. Mom's guardian. My guardian now. I didn't scream. I couldn't. We just stared at each other for what felt like an hour, and in its eyes I saw the same expression my mother had in her last moments. Peace, certainty, familiarity. Now I'm sitting at my desk writing this. Morning light is coming through the window, and it's still here. It hasn't moved. It's standing in the corner by my bedroom door, staring at me, like it's making sure nothing gets close to me, like it thinks it's helping. I don't know what to do. How do you escape a guardian that doesn't want to hurt you, but terrifies you more than death ever could?